Meet Bronzebound, my Xtreme OneChunk Bronzeman. Starting at the Grand Exchange, I'm unlocking the RuneScape map one chunk at a time. With the goal of unlocking 1,000 items, our journey has only just begun. Last episode,
Holy shit!
we got the Hill Giant Club, completed our first major chunk, and then rolled
Ooh, Isle of Souls!
our first pet grind.
We are here over at the Soul Wars portal in our Edgeville chunk. We're bringing the Hill Giant Club for good measure. Let's jump into the portal and explore our new chunk. We are banished to the Shadow Realm. Let's unlock this chunk. Let's take a quick look around. I have never done Soul Wars before, so I have very little clue of what this means. I thought that was an imp, but that is Zimberfizz. We have Nomad. I'm guessing this is the Soul Wars lobby area. Just looks like regular trees. Yeah, these are the moss giants that are triggering a few of the item grinds as well as the mossy key. Let's bonk one for good measure. Boop. We have imps, we already had those. And what do we have over here? These all just look like regular trees with a different skin. Okay, so nothing else over here, but we do have Soul Wars unlocked. We had to talk to Nomad first, and we just finished the Soul Wars tutorial,
Giving us the Soul Wars guide.
now, if we trade with Nomad, you can see we have all of these experience unlocked, the most exciting of which is Prayer. We can also imbue a bunch of items, and then finally, we have all of these other items. I believe the Soul Cape, the Ectoplasmator, and the Spoils of War will be all collection logs that we will need to unlock. And further, within the Spoils of War, we're also going to need to get the Soul Wars pet. So that'll be a fun grind. These food, beyond just being new unlocks in general, these are going to be our best in slot food and our first prayer restoration method. They are blighted, but we're pretty close to the wilderness, and we can always jump to PvP worlds if need be. So yeah, that's the chunk. Let's jump over to the chunk picker. All right, I have manually added Soul Wars to our chunk tasks. And if I click calculate now, we should get, there is the full range of Soul Wars chunk tasks that we need to complete. Quick context, rolling a mini game, typically because they are instants, means you should automatically have all of the grinds associated with them come up immediately. However, for Soul Wars, they have made a small specific adjustment where you'd actually need to roll the 3 overworld chunks before the grinds would automatically trigger. I didn't like that deviation or variation from the rules. I also looked at a few other people who have rolled Soul Wars chunks, Frey, for example, who had a similar situation and decided to keep the classic rule set where it's an instance and use these instead. And so decided to proceed with that. It just didn't feel right to have such a small list of tasks after rolling this chunk. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below if you feel like this is appropriate. First and foremost, I think we're going to knock out the few mossy giant tasks, and then we can come back in, clean up, and go through what we need to do remaining. Testing out our new fit, and we just got a Limport Seed. That is a new item unlocked. Taraman Seed unlocked. Whiteberry Seed unlocked. Irrit Seeds unlocked. A nice unlock here. That is a Renar Seed. Marantil Seed unlocked. Oh, fantastic. There we go already. That is a Black Square Shield unlocked and a chunk task completed. Magic Staff unlocked. That was in the chunk picker, though I don't think it was technically a task because we have a water staff already, but it's nice to get that done, so no ambiguity. So the last item we're chasing is the mossy key. Ooh, I believe this is another unlock. Yep, that's a Toplax seed. Potato cactus seed unlocked. Ooh, and a Jengaberry seed unlocked. I believe this is a new unlock as well. Yeah, that's a steel med helm unlocked. There it is. That is the mossy key unlocked. And a chunk task completed. Super exciting. I think we were lucky again. Yeah, under rate, almost half the rate. The drop rate's 1 in 150, so super lucky. We are back in the chunk picker, and we got absolutely spooned again on that mossy key. The great stream of luck continues. Let's go tick off the few related tasks. We now have the black square shield. We have obtained the magic staff, and again, we didn't technically need to get this because we had the water staff, but I figured we're going to get it anyway. We may as well keep it for simplicity, so that is done. And then the last other item here in the collection log, we obtained a mossy key. All of the remaining items listed here are really 3 Soul Wars item requirements. We need the pet, we need the cape, and we need the ectoplasmator. And then the last real requirement is we now need to get 70 prayer, which is going to be quite a grind, considering all we really have is some low-tier bones and ashes. And that's our goal for this episode, completing all of these tasks, about an 80-hour grind, and rolling a new chunk. This may be a horrible idea, but I've decided to just go in complete cold, headed over to the mass world, and just play a game. I'll let you know how that goes, but it could be interesting. Yeah, looking around, I am very outgeared. And we have the blue cape unlocked. Potion of power unlocked. Bandages unlocked. That is potion of power 3 dose unlocked. Still no real idea what I'm doing here, and ouch, I think I just pretty much got 1 hit. 2 dose unlocked. Collecting these soul fragments and murdered again. Power potion 1 dose unlocked. Apparently you can drink these while dead. Best thing I found so far is running around collecting bones, some of which are mine, and then burying them. This should give us a little bit of eligibility for zeal. Anything else at the moment and we're just getting slaughtered. Yeah, my team and I can't even leave our graveyard. Picking these bones up, which are all of ours, and just burying them is the only thing we've got any reasonable chance of doing. Just finished. That was horrible. All I could do was run around like a crazy person, bury bones. Team got absolutely destroyed. Let's give it one more go, see if that's any better, and I'll check back in with you then. Did a little bit better there, but still feels like mass is not the play. 39 zeal earned, takes about 18-19 minutes. So best case, we're getting 120 zeal an hour-ish, and 12,000 to go on rate. That would be 100 hours doing it this way. I think we got to find a better way. Okay, I have been playing around. I've tried a variety of different methods trying to get the best zeal per hour. It looks like dolo, 2 accounts played by just me, is by far the best. I'm gonna run you through what an example might look like. So here we are on my main. We're in the clan portal. We're going to accept on both accounts. We're gonna jump over. This is the more time-gated one, is how quickly can you get your main out. We're now gonna jump back over here. We're gonna grab potions. We need bandages as well because we're gonna run out of run energy. We're gonna go through the portal, and now we're gonna capture. And so that can kind of sit in autopilot. We can jump over to the main. We're gonna use the locator orb from Dragon Slayer 2, lower our hit points down to 30. We're gonna pot up, and we're gonna start killing these forgotten souls. Our goal is sort of 24 to 28 fragments. 24 is fine, but we get better XP per hour on Bronzebound when we have lower strength on the avatar. So we should be able to just kill this one. I'm gonna send it over to kill. We're now going to send over Bronzebound, jump back to the main. Boom, kill, back to Bronzebound. This additional capture is slightly redundant, but it just works really nicely for the timing, so I've kind of continued to do it. So now that's on autopilot, it's going to capture. We now are going to continue to kill these. We've got 12, 16, so we need a couple more. We can see up here how we're progressing on the capture. Okay, boom. Try to come over here. Jump back over. Okay, now we're going to capture the center. Perfect. This gives us 20. There's 24. And then this should be our last one. This will line up nicely. We're going to jump back to bronze bound. This is now captured. We're going to pot and bandage. Okay, we have the soul fragment. We're going to locate our orb all the way down. We need to take everything off because we are very weak. And then we're going to send over spell kill. Pick up the soul fragments. We're going to sacrifice these. And we're going to run over to the avatar, switch into our melee setup. And we're now going to come over and attack the avatar. And so what I've learned is the points per hour are somewhat time gated. And so there's an efficiency between getting through the first 5 minutes, which kind of unlocks your best sort of points, and then pretty much forfeiting and exiting out shortly thereafter. And so while we're here attacking, we now get to pretty much AFK. If we jump back over to the main, you can see the main is dead. I'll typically also use this time to re-equip all the gear. And what we're really going to do is wait till the activity bar drains all the way down to 0. And when that gets to 0, we'll automatically forfeit it. I could, in theory, just leave now. However, you know, you get slightly more points per hour. I also get a little bit of AFK time, which is nice. Back over here, the only thing I need to do on Bronzeman is occasionally drink some potions to make sure that my prayer doesn't completely hit 0. And this is actually pretty nice. This is, you know, superset boosted stats and pretty AFK training. And so this is actually my best combat experience an hour, which is one of the reasons I prefer this instead of leaving immediately, even though it would be maybe a couple of extra points per hour. Overall, this feels pretty macro efficient, and the AFK / downtime is really, really nice. We should get kicked out any second now. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And so that has been the plan. This averages out to about 240 zeal per hour. For the pet alone, works out to be about a 50-hour grind, about twice as fast as masses. Good morning, everyone. It is the start of day 2, and we had a lot of fun and a lot of learning over at Soul Wars. We managed to get bit over 1,500, almost 1,600 zeal yesterday, and we're averaging about 240 zeal per hour. We can do a lot better than that. Our finishing games, we found quite a few sort of little optimizations and was getting closer to 250 zeal per hour. So looking very, very nice. And we also ran a bunch of calculations. So let's jump over to the spreadsheet and let's take a quick look. You can see we've got the Soul Wars experience calculated at every level and the number of zeal required to get to the next level, and it tells us therefore how long it will take to reach each level using Soul Wars. Bearing bones or scattering ashes is by far the faster method to Soul Wars. The biggest thing though is just the cost. However, similar to some of the other grinds, we can work out, you know, what is our best money maker, and is it more efficient for us to do Soul Wars to get the points, or take the time saving and instead invest that in fletching bows, for example. And interestingly, you can kind of see that it is better up until level 70 for us to
bury bones and scatter ashes. One interesting thing I discovered, which I'm not sure many people are aware, but bones and ashes both scatter or bury respectively on 2 tick cycles, but these can be offset, meaning you can go bone, ash, bone, ash, bone, ash, and do each one of those in a 1 tick action, making the combined XP per hour much, much more efficient. So this is by far our best XP per hour. It just can hemorrhage money. This is also quite sensitive. So for example, if we are less efficient, say, and only get 240 zeal per hour, it's now optimal for us to bury bones and scatter ashes up to level 74. If we, get a better money maker, say we're making now like 500k an hour, you can see it's, now better to do that all the way up to 85. And so I think after stress testing this a little bit, it's pretty clear that up until, our current chunk goal of level 70, we should be burying bones and scattering ashes. So the Soul Wars XP earned won't help us here. So we're not looking to get our level 70 prayer requirement through Soul Wars. But what it could do, depending on what our moneymaker is and, where we're at, for subsequent grinds, if we do get 99 prayer, this may actually be a big save, particularly if we're stuck with a poor moneymaker. We're looking at, 35 hours, including sort of the money, 10 hours if we just hemorrhage the money to get to level 70 prayer. The astute amongst you might have realized we have not presently unlocked Vile Ashes. Apparently that's possible by killing Chronozon in here. I don't know if we can kill him. I believe he's associated with a quest. I'm hoping we can. I think we need to cast 1 of each of the elemental blast spells before we're able to kill him. But this is our only source of Vile Ashes in the chunk. And so if we don't get them from being able to kill him, we're going to be in trouble. Okay, it says he weakens. Let's see if that is sufficient to kill him. And more importantly, do we get Vile Ashes? Oh, perfect. Vile Ashes unlocked. This is our best and most cost-effective prayer training method. We're very likely going to be using this a lot. As kind of mentioned, this in conjunction with regular bones is our best trade-off between XP per hour as well as cost. Not until very high levels, somewhere between 70 and 90, does Soul Wars beat this out. Just a little bit of a throwback. Poisoned running through here, dying a couple episodes ago. Feels like we've come so far so quickly. I'm not even concerned. We have a, way to heal poison plus so much better food, so much better stats. I love that progression. We are over at the Grand Exchange, and that is a sight you like to see. Another 10,000 U longbows sold, bringing our cash stack up to about 3.7, and we've already started working on another 10,000 in the bank. So hopefully after this, we'll have closer to just under 5 million again. So we start getting a nice cash stack. We are going to make an investment. We are going to purchase some Vile Ashes. We're going to purchase 3,721. We also need to purchase some bones. We're going to purchase similarly 3,721, also over the buy limit. And we are going to buy those. These together should be enough to get us to level 60. So I'm excited to try burying these and scattering these in a combo, see how that goes. For context, considering we have to get prayer up anyway, the higher the prayer, the more AFK time we get on the avatar during Soul Wars. We'll also need to split it up given the buy limit, so gonna try to pump out a little bit of the prayer grind right now, and I'll let you know how we go. I'm a little impatient at the moment. I want to start, so let's put up the price slightly, and perfect. All right, let's get to it. I think I've come up with
a relatively efficient method for the bury plus scatter every 2 ticks that I kind of wanted to show and demonstrate. And I also have reset our XP per hour, and I want to see how close we can get to that theoretical to the 73k XP per hour. And so I've got this screen marker here. This is both for bank as well as where I need to start clicking. Also, if you're not familiar, you can right click if you've got the bank tag plugin, and you can enable layout. And then you can kind of go here and you can duplicate items, meaning you can have multiple of the same there, which helps for, wanting to kind of alternate, withdraw multiple of the same thing. I've now got my withdraw set to 4. Then what I'm doing is I'm zigzagging down here. This gives me an inventory of those. Closing out, then I'm getting in a rhythm. And I use that bone berry sound to give me an indication to make sure that I'm 2 ticks apart. Bank. Again, boom. And how are we doing? We're almost, yeah, see, we're pretty much on our theoretical max. Just finished up our first hour of berry plus scatter. Not the most enjoyable. Like, that's very, very click intensive. 2,500 actions per hour, more if you include the banking. So very, very intensive. Glad that that is not going to be our best all the way to 99. In case you're wondering, over the course of that, we were averaging just over 68k XP per hour. We have been scattering and burying. I've been using the visual plugin so I can listen to some books and watch some videos while reclining, and that has made this much more enjoyable. So now I don't need to listen for the audio cue. I can just use the visual, get in a nice rhythm, and this has been really nice. And so we are almost at the end of another 3,000 stack, and I think we're gonna do these every time we get to 3,000. We want to rush the prayer because it makes the Soul Wars grind more recline. We can AFK longer at the avatar, and so we want to do that first. And this is our best method. I want to show you the slightly more efficient method on Soul Wars. Just a couple of tweaks to make everything a little bit more efficient. First, starting with the main again, really grab supplies and get running. This is kind of the biggest gate. Can jump over somewhat leisurely to Bronzeman, grab the potions, go through. We're going now over to the graveyard. We're going to equip and pre-pot just in case I forget in the future. Now we're going to locator orb down, about 20. We're going to drink. We're going to keep running. Now, one key thing is we should be using our prayer. That was something we weren't before. And so we want to tag 2 of these. And be a little bit more efficient. And one thing we'll want to do is, as we're killing these, trying to get them to stack up on death, because you can then pick up the soul shards in one go. And so you'll notice here, dead, pick up the soul shard, we get all 8, start killing, jump across, and we're now going to start running on Bronzeman. I'm going to try to get to the middle. That lets me know when we're there, come back, and then similarly, for all of these, coming around to this kind of central spot is really important because then we can tag all 3. Okay, it's running through. Gonna keep it running. Send it to the graveyard. These will all also stack up. And we can tag all 3, get them to around this central point, which makes it very, very efficient to stack or pick up the soul fragments, which is actually a little bit tedious and cumbersome otherwise. So we're gonna tag again. Boom. Attack, and then we should be almost finished on Bronzeman. We're gonna head over, done, start the run. Okay, we have our 20 soul fragments, we are done. Much faster than last time. We can orb all the way down, take off all our clothing, and I must have misclicked slightly. You should have been in here by now. Okay, we're now going to go put on Mystic Might, attack, just gives us a slightly higher chance. You notice we're now capturing at the same time We are there. Boom, grab the soul fragments, put them in. And so for a good run, you should be able to get off the island by about 12:30. So we can see we are pretty much on that pace. Double clicking prayer just to clear it off for now. We're gonna switch to our melee weapon. We are going to pot up again. And what you'll notice is this time we don't need the bandages because we have just enough run to get over to the avatar. We're gonna activate our quick prayer as soon as we see him, and we're gonna start attacking. This then should give us, a really large period of AFK time. I have idle notifier on, and so that'll tell me when my prayer points are low. I'll just click back, sip another potion. And this is the reason we wanted to kind of rush getting prayer up, because having the higher prayer level means that our chill with this kind of AFK at the avatar is much, much higher. Another thing I've learned is that the points from this avatar are capped at 260 damage. And so you'll notice we're just about to cross that threshold. You sort of see more than 260 damage has been dealt. And so in theory, if we were to leave at any point now, we're going to get the maximum points for the time. And so could do the slightly sweatier only 2 capture method, but considering we're lower combat stats, I still prefer getting the 28 shards and getting a little bit more AFK time and XP training on the avatar with effectively a free superset and free prayer. It's a little bit under 5 minutes, and we got 22 zeal. So if we can do that for a full hour, that would put us right on, 260 zeal per hour. Realistically, going to be some mistakes, and so we're still looking at about 250, which is nice and sustainable for us to kind of knock out this grind. We have been doing some more scatter plus berry method, and we have a cool milestone. That is 60 prayer. If we could, we would actually have chivalry. We have another interesting milestone coming in. If we trade Nomad here, you'll notice we have 3,000 zeal tokens. So we've been gaming hard to get some points here, and that gives us about a quarter of the drop rate to get the pet, being 12,000 zeal tokens. So we are going to buy 5 of these at a time, and we're going to open these up and see how we do. And so that is Spoils of War unlocked. Let me remove prayer from the canvas. And opening up the Spoils of War, we're going to get some new items as well. That is a Blighted Ancient Ice Sack, Blighted Manta Ray, and it should be Blighted Super Restore coming in. All right, unfortunately, this has been pretty nerfed, so it's not going to be as good money, but still very nice. We've got Blighted Vengeance Sacks and Runite Bolts. Apparently, that's worth a little bit at least. Opening up some more, we've also got Blighted Anglerfish, Rune or Pure Essence unlocked. And finally, we have now Adamant Bolts unlocked, as well as, Blighted Karam ones. Nice to get a bunch of those unlocks. Nothing too exciting yet, so we're going to keep buying these 5 at a time. The reason is we don't want to overbuy because we could use the remaining zeal to pretty much complete the chunk. So, in theory, if any of these were the pet, we're pretty much done with the chunk, minus needing to get 70 prayer. So gonna open these. Nothing interesting, unfortunately. Let's maybe go 10 at a time. The only plus is now that they've changed it, it seems pretty easy. It doesn't look like we're gonna need to bank at all. So powering through these. Okay, nothing. Boom. Okay, any pop-up from here on out would be the pet. That is what we're hunting. It is a 1 in 400 from each of these opens. Not lucky yet. Down to our last 10 spoils of war. Not gonna lie, was kind of hoping the trend of getting a mega spooned was going to continue. We'll see if that's the case. Alas, no mega spoonage, but we're still well below the drop rate. Curious, let's take a look and see the value of everything. Okay, 2.3 mil. That's not bad. I don't think this is a better moneymaker. That was about 20 hours. So that's, 115K per hour. So worse than you longs, but at least we're getting a little bit of money back. This used to be, 5 times as much, which would have been our best moneymaker. And so no massive luck, but hey, first batch of openings. Yeah, let's see what we get next. We are just finishing up another 3,000 of these bone scatter combo. Can confirm this is absolute cancer. Going a little bit over, I want to push all the way to level 63. We're presently level 62. Most of you may know, but some may not. But the same way 92 is half of 99, that 7 level difference is true for most levels, roughly from level 30 onwards. And so getting to 63 means we are officially halfway to our goal of level 70. I did not realize when I unlocked this chunk how bad and how much I would absolutely hate this method. So I am really, really glad that we got Soul Wars unlocked, and that is actually our most efficient training method post level 7. That is the huge unexpected win that I am absolutely going to take. Yeah, so this is cancer. I'll see you in a sec after I've buried another few hundred of these and we get the dopamine hit of being halfway to our goal at level 63. And there is, we lost the pop-up, but there is level 63 prayer. That's good to see, but somewhat ominous how slow levels are coming in. And again, just so grateful that this is no longer our best method to 99. Go Soul Wars. Another minor optimization here. As we locate our orb down, pick this up, we're actually going to tag NPCs as we're taking off our clothes. And a good chunk of the time, boom, instantly dead. And that saves us a few ticks and lets us finish again a little bit faster. Okay, we let those sit overnight and everything has sold / purchased. That gives us a little bit more health, and we also finished another 10,000 U longbows. Was getting a little bit concerned with the dwindling cash stack, so powered through, finished those off. We're gonna sit those in there, and if we come over to the bank, you'll see, not too bad, 1.9 million, but much more importantly, this is now the full set of bones and vile ashes that we are going to need to get to level 70 prayer. So we're gonna probably do a couple of thousand a day. Definitely need to split that up because again, that is just absolute pain. Of course, we're also gonna purchase another 10,000 U logs. Another 10,000 U longbows unstrung sold. We just finished cleaning up a couple of thousand bones and vile ashes and did pretty well. We got up to 65 prayer and was able to main about 59,000 XP per hour. So a little bit slower, but not too bad, all things considered. That's what we've maintained over a pretty long period of time. Additionally, we're going to jump over to Nomad here, and we have another 3,000 zeal tokens that we've earned that we get the pleasure of spending. Fingers crossed, really want the pet. This will put us at half the drop rate. Going to start off conservatively again, buy them 5 at a time, and yeah, let's see how this opening goes. Okay, nothing from the first 5. What do we get from the next 5? Still nothing. I don't know why I expect it to be so soon. I'm going to up it a little bit. Let's purchase 10 at a time and knock these bad boys out. Oh no, that went so quickly. We're already down to our last 10. What do we get? Nothing. Damn. I suppose we can't get spooned on everything. We'll just have to put in the hours, get some more zeal before we do another opening. Quick price check. That was 2.6 mil. Okay, a little bit more than the 2.3 we got last time. So nice, but still not the best moneymaker, but at least it's a consolation prize. We are back at the GE, so you can probably guess we have sold another 10,000 U longbows, and of course purchased another 10,000 U logs, keeping the fletching going in the background. Let's take a quick look at the cash stack. 4.7 mil. Okay, so not too bad, getting a little bit healthier. We've offset most of the cost of the vile ashes and bones, and we've gotten almost to 95 fletching. Looking good. No idea what I am observing right now. The whole world lagged, and then a huge number of people have just logged into this world. Taking a quick look around, these guys look like bots. Yeah, looking up the stats of all these, they have very similar names, pretty low stats with the exception of a huge amount of Soul Wars games played. I'm going with this is a bot farm. But weirdly, Iron Man bot farm? Yeah, bizarre. Oh, wow. That wasn't even the entirety of the farm. That's got to be a completely full lobby that just logged in as well. I was trying to work out what they were doing, just all standing around, but that makes sense. These were the bots that didn't fit in the game. I'm going to jump in, see if we can tag along and get some more information. They're all piling in. Looks to be about 80 plus of them. The way they're moving kind of one at a time doesn't look like it's a script. Might be somebody mass doing this. Yeah, so they've built up a full train here. It looks like everybody's going to be following this guy, Imran. I'm imagining we've got to be doing some back and forth recapture or something, and something similar was happening on the other team as well. Yeah, and straight to the graveyard. Okay, this makes sense. This one's got the name number 1. Let's take a look at his stats. Oh yeah, he's got a lot. Yeah, okay, he might be running the show. Just finished capturing back and forth 6 times, which I believe is the capture limit. Yeah, I think this is why everyone has the cannon. Because every time we're attacking, we're getting just a tiny little bit of activity back, even though we're still hitting zeros. And so I'm guessing that's why they've opted for the attack speed. I'm slowly losing activity. I'm assuming this is enough so that they don't get kicked out for inactivity. And I was just talking about making sure there's enough activity, and I AFK'd too hard and got kicked out of the game before it finished. Annoying. Let's wait around and see what happens for the next cycle 2. Started off exactly the same, but it looks like somebody else or a couple other people have also snuck into the lobby. Looks like the owner pretty much just had half the team completely rag this guy and are just killing him on repeat, while the other half is running over here to the avatar, doing the same strat. Finish, got 52 zeal. Looked it up, it's capped at 60 zeal for a win, 30 zeal for a loss. I imagine normal circumstances, you're getting those capped values, and so probably looking at an average of 45 zeal per game. 3 games an hour, running the full 20 minutes, ignoring kind of the wait time between. You're looking at kind of a max of about 130 zeal per hour. So maybe okay for AFK. Wasn't completely AFK, particularly considering I don't have access to a goblin cannon. So I think gonna stick to the dolo method for now. Finished another 3,000 Vile Ashes and bones, only 6,000 more to go. Really excited to get this done. We're at 67 prayer, but this is hurting, this is painful, we're almost there. Another small optimization found here. We should have been on the main wearing the Salve Amulet EI because it gives us a 20% bonus against undead, which includes the lost souls. So definitely missed out on a little bit of DPS. Better late than never, and so we'll add this into the routine, see how this helps optimize. Little mini milestone coming in here. We've got relatively clean stats, 50 attack, 60 strength, and 50 defense. Been plugging away, and we should be here with our last couple of ashes and bones. Yet still skipped the pop-up, but that is 68 prayer. Only one more before we get the nice number. Just wanted to give you a little taste of what I'm experiencing. Here is 10x speed. Still barely moving. 600x. Every second is 10 minutes. And here we have it, level 69 prayer. Nice. Just finished up a big session of Soul Wars, and we have 6,000 zeal tokens to spend. With all of those little efficiency updates, we've been averaging closer to 260 zeal per hour, which is really nice to see. So let's get to it. Let's trade Nomad and let's spend some zeal. This 12,000 zeal gives us enough to be on rate for the pet. So we should get the pet here. No fluffing around. We're going to do 10 at a time. Nothing from the first 10. Nothing from the second 10. All right, I'm gonna start ripping through these. I'm just looking for a pop-up. Please give me a pop-up. Pet. Nope. Little creator, if you hear me any time now, I'd love to see you. I'm starting to lose hope a little bit. We're down to 3,000 zeal tokens and haven't seen little creator. Damn, okay. I was really hoping we'd have it by now, and then we could pretty much finish the chunk. We've got a bunch from the Spoils of War, but I think the counter's off slightly because we've been spam opening these so quickly. 75% to the drop rate, no pet, unfortunate. All right, I'm gonna take these last 3,000 a little bit slower. I'm starting to lose hope. Nothing from these 10. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm holding my breath every time we're opening a batch. Please. Oh, yes. Oh my God, yes. Holy shit, I did not think we were gonna get the pet there. I can't believe we did that. We've got 2,400 zeal to spare as well. Holy shit. Oh my god. Let's look at this little beaut. Look at this little bad boy, my little creator. Ooh, you're looking good. Don't know if I like the metamorphosis. I think I'm gonna switch you back. Yeah, I prefer the classic. Yeah, no. It's definitely the classic little creator for me. The blue team avatar. Hell yeah, that is awesome. And we've got zeal tokens to spare as well. This grind is pretty much done, and that's a chunk task completed too. Oh my god, we're almost done with this chunk. We are still spoon. We're still below the drop rate, probably only about 80% of the way to the drop rate. We're still below. Almost have enough zeal now to finish everything off in the chunk as well. Holy shit. And let's pick this little guy up. That is a new item unlocked, little creator. Oh yeah, I'm feeling good again. Getting addicted to these dopamines, these unlocks. This is a lot of fun. I'm very, very happy to get this little guy. Our first pet on the account is unlocked. He's looking good. I'm gonna keep this guy behind me as long as I can to kind of enjoy him. 69 prayer, almost there. One more level to grind out, and yeah, just short of the soul cape. 2,500 tokens, and it's only 250 for the ectoplasmator. So we will be done with this chunk very, very shortly. We only need a few hundred more zeal tokens, and we are done. Okay, let's pump this out real quick and let's roll a new chunk. 70 prayer coming in right here.
And everything has sold off. Nice 5 mil there. And if we combine it with our stack in the bank, ooh, we are very, very close to a green cash stack. I am excited. Still loving the fact that I've got this little guy following me around everywhere. Very, very nice to have the first pet on the accounts. Depending on which chunk we roll, he may be long or short-lived, but for now, really, really enjoying it. We have another cool little milestone coming here. Just wanted to finish this up before the chunk. That is 95 fletching. Besides just being a pretty cool, pretty round number, this is a very important milestone for most Xtreme OneChunk accounts. Because, most importantly, this gives you the ability to fletch dragon darts. This is typically the highest requirement that is triggered, besides the skill cape itself. And so this is a cool place to get. This typically triggered once Hunter's unlocked, because Overwhelmed Implings can give you Dragon Dart tips, which then are required to be fletched. So this is a very, very, very nice milestone to have. And it's also continued the progression and set us up nicely for our potential second 99 grind. Back over at Soul Wars, we're going to trade Nomad. And no longer grayed out is the Soul Cape. We are going to purchase this bad boy. That is a new item unlocked, the Soul Cape. That is a chunk task completed. Additionally, wearing this Soul Cape, boom. That is another chunk task completed. That is why we needed the 70 prayer grind. Almost there. Let's trade him one more time. Let's buy the ectoplasmator. That is a new item unlocked, and that is our final chunk task done. The most important of all of those tasks being getting this little bad boy, the little creator. Let's jump over to the chunk picker. I'll see you over there in a second, and we can roll a new chunk. Jumping over to the chunk picker, we get to tick off a few tasks. We effectively had 4 tasks to complete. Number 1, get 70 prayer. Done. Number 2,
was to get the Soul Cape and equip it, which we have now done. So that is our best in slot cape, and it is also a collection log slot. We also obtained the Ectoplasmator, and most importantly of all, we have obtained our first pet on the account, Little Creator. That is 9 out of 9 chunk tasks completed. And just a quick reminder, the other 3 tasks were Moss Giant related, Mossy Key, Magic Staff, and Black Square Shield. And so we have now completed every single chunk task. A quick overview on potential chunks before we roll. Chunk number 1 has Scarius and Bryophyta. For Scarius, we would need to obtain the pet, a 1 in 3,000, and for Bryophyta, we would also need to obtain the essence. This is similar to the Hill Giant Club, a 1 in 118. Chunk number 2 and 4 are both nothing chunks. Chunk number 3 is the chunk we want the most. This gives us a 99 cooking grind, a second 99 grind, most likely fletching, as well as an 88 smithing grind. The reason we want this chunk so badly is we are going to get a smithing grind very soon in any regard, and getting chunk number 3 gives us a very good bank to anvil path, very short distance, highly efficient, and will make that training a breeze. Chunk number 5, we will get a pickaxe, and this will unlock mining, and we'll need to get predominantly 70 mining as well as 70 smithing. But that smithing grind we'll have to do using only an anvil. Much slower, much less efficient, hence one of the reasons we want number 3. And number 6, even though we will get the monastery chunk, currently we'll only have this little sliver here, and so this will be a nothing chunk until we roll these 2 or these 3 chunks, giving us physical access to the monastery. Now, looking over at the Isle of Souls. Presently, chunk number 7 is a nothing chunk. But this hunter spot here is a level 1 hunter training method. So that if we are not careful, we are very likely going to need shortly 89 hunter for lucky implings, because we have Puro access in our Grand Exchange chunk. Where are we going to get a bird snare from? Unfortunately, here there is a bird snare spawn, and there is also bird snares accessible in the Isle of Souls dungeon. So very, very close to an 89 hunter grind. So would rather avoid 7 if possible, though it will be a nothing chunk in the near term. Chunk 8, similarly a nothing chunk for now. There is a fishing spot here that we can access potentially if we were to also roll this chunk and get 16 fishing. Our fishing level is currently 13, but that is going up pretty quickly with the Bob random events. And the last and, potentially, most annoying or least efficient chunk of all, chunk number 9. We do not yet have a pickaxe, so the mine doesn't change anything, but hidden under here, there is an anvil. This anvil triggers the same 88 smithing grind that we would get if we rolled the West Varrock Bank chunk. However, instead of having the very convenient path, we now need to run from the Isle of Souls all the way down and around to the anvil to be able to smith. So this is, one of the main reasons that we want to get the West Varrock Bank chunk as soon as possible. Further in here, we can get rune bar drops. Additionally, we can also get rune bar drops from Bryophyta, so we're very likely going to get a 99 smithing grind very soon, and we'd love that to be as efficient as possible. Let's roll a chunk, see where our future is going to be spent. Moment of truth. Edgeville Ditch, a nothing chunk. It will be no chunk toss at present. That being said, let's go over there and take a quick look at the chunk. We're just gonna pick up our pet and we are gonna throw him in the bank because we are going into the wilderness, and I would just be absolutely heartbroken to lose this guy so soon. So let's come over here and let us unlock this new chunk. And that is the chunk unlocked. All right, let us cross into the wilderness ditch for the first time. Bunch of music tracks unlocked. GZ to the Zeal Gains guy who just got a little creator as well. And let us venture forth. We've got some oak trees. Don't really need those. We've got a coin spawn. Multiple coin spawns. Skeletons. Believe that's the air obelisk, so we could in theory charge air orbs. Iron rocks, coal rocks. Ooh, we have the Mage of Zamorak. Does he have anything interesting? Fire, water, air, earth, mind, body, chaos, death. Okay, we already have all of those. Will he... Okay, so he won't take me into the abyss. He won't talk to me at the moment. That makes sense. Nothing else over here. Some dead trees. Okay, so this is, in fact, a nothing chunk. Always just good to confirm. Let's head back to safety and then let us roll a new chunk. Ooh. I'll take a beer. Thank you very much. Back in the chunk picker. Number 1 is Scarius and Briar Fighter. Number 2 is nothing. 3, the Cook's Guild is the chunk that we want. 4, new unlock. This chunk potentially to roll gives us access to the Ferox Enclave. The main task there is going to be purchasing the Ferox Enclave respawn point. Thankfully, we've been fletching in the background and saving our money, so we'd be able to knock that out instantly. So we can pretty much think of this for now as a nothing chunk. But future levels, this will give us pretty close access to a variety of wilderness grinds, including Last Man Standing eventually. Number 6, also a nothing chunk, but I don't want it. It gets us scarily close to number 7, the Monastery. And coming back over to the Isle of Souls, nothing changed here. 8 is nothing. 10 is nothing for now, but with the Hunter grind, and 9 is just a worse version of number 2. So let us roll a chunk and see what we get. Please, Cook's Guild. No! We've completed our goals for this episode and obtained our first pet. Next episode, Isle of Soul Mine. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, shout out to our first founding Bronzeman, Dan Rue. If you'd like to donate or join, link is in the description.